The wind cut like knives across the empty white land. Snow swirled so thick that even shadows disappeared into the storm. The human pulled his cloak tighter, but it was useless. Every breath turned into sharp mist, and his fingers were stiff with cold. He knew one thing for certain: if he did not find shelter soon, he would die out here. His boots sank into the ice with every step. The night sky above was black, the stars hidden behind angry clouds. Somewhere in the distance, he thought he heard a cry. It was not the sound of the storm. It was not the howl of an animal. It was something else, a voice. He stopped. His heart pounded. At first, he thought the cold was playing tricks on his mind, but then he heard it again, faint, but clear, carried by the freezing wind. Human. Get in my bed now. He spun around, searching the storm. No one was there. The voice came again, stronger this time, urgent and desperate. Do you want to freeze? Get inside, before the night eats you alive. His legs moved on instinct, carrying him toward the sound. He stumbled down a slope, and suddenly, through the snow, a shape appeared. Half buried in ice was a broken shelter, made of alien metal. Its roof was cracked, its walls bent inward like claws, but inside, a small flicker of light glowed. The human pushed through the doorway. The heat inside was weak, almost gone, but it was enough to sting his frozen skin. His eyes adjusted, and that's when he saw her. She was lying on a crude bed made of furs and shredded cloth, an alien woman. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim light, almost glowing where the cold bit hardest. She was tall, her hair tangled with frost, her lips trembling as she struggled to speak. Her eyes locked on his. They burned with pride, with strength, but her body shivered like fragile glass. You, she whispered, voice rough from the cold. Get in, beside me, now. The human froze. He did not know who she was, or why she demanded such a thing. She was beautiful, even in her weakness, but there was something dangerous about her. Something that warned him this could be a trap. You heard me, she hissed, her breath fogging in the air. If you stay out there, you die. If you stand there staring, I die. The storm kills us both. Get in my bed, human. The human's chest tightened. Every instinct told him not to trust her. She was alien, exiled, by the look of the ruined shelter. But he could also see the truth in her eyes. She was right. The cold was merciless. He would not last the night alone. Slowly, he stepped forward. The furs on the bed were rough, frozen at the edges. The alien woman pulled them open with weak hands, making space for him. Closer, she ordered. Her voice cracked, but her tone was still sharp. Body heat is the only way. Don't be shy, human. Or do you want me to die while you pretend? To be polite, he lay down beside her, his body stiff with uncertainty. The moment their skin touched through the thin layers of cloth, a shock ran through him. She was freezing so cold it hurt, but beneath that, there was heat. Faint and growing stronger the longer they stayed pressed together. Her breathing slowed. Her trembling eased. She let out a soft sound, almost a sigh, though her pride would never let it be a sigh of weakness. The human kept still, staring at the cracked ceiling above. The storm roared outside, but inside the shelter there was only the sound of their breaths mingling. You don't trust me, she whispered, her eyes half closed. No, he admitted. Good, she said, a faint smirk touching her lips. Never trust an exile. But tonight, you have no choice. The words hung between them, heavy and sharp. The human's mind raced with questions. Who was she? Why was she here, alone on this frozen wasteland? Why did her body glow faintly under the furs? And why did she choose him out of all the beings who could have wandered here? The alien's head rested against his chest, though she tried to hide. How much she leaned on him. Sleep, human, she murmured. But keep one eye open. The cold isn't the only thing hunting tonight. Her words sent a chill deeper than the storm ever could. He wanted to ask what she meant, but then he heard it, a sound carried by the wind outside. A howl. Long, low, and hungry. It was not human, not alien, not anything he had ever heard before. The alien woman's grip tightened on his arm. Her eyes snapped open, glowing faintly with fear and fury. They've found us, she whispered. The humans. Breath caught in his throat. He turned his head toward the doorway. where shadows shifted just beyond the broken wall. The storm was no longer the most dangerous thing outside. Something else was waiting, watching. The night was not only frozen, it was alive. The human did not sleep that night. He lay tense under the torn furs. The alien woman's cold body pressed against his. Outside, the storm screamed, but beneath that, he kept hearing them, those howls. They circled, faded, then came back closer. Whatever hunted out there was patient. The alien woman stirred. Her breath tickled his chest. She opened her eyes, glowing faintly in the dark, and spoke in a low, guarded tone. "You want answers, human?" she asked. He stayed quiet, waiting. She smirked faintly. "Good. Silence means you know when to listen." Her hands trembled as she pulled the furs tighter around them both. She looked away, ashamed for even needing him. But her voice carried the weight of someone who had lost everything. "My people cast me out," she said at last. "Do you know what exile means in my culture? It means death, alone, frozen, forgotten." The human frowned. "Why?" Her jaw tightened. "Because I refused." He waited again. She glanced at him, her eyes sharp, challenging him to ask what she refused. When he didn't, she gave a small laugh, dry and bitter. "They wanted me to kneel, to obey, to marry a man I despised, a leader too weak to fight his own battles. I spat in his face before the whole council. So they stripped me of my name and sent me here, to die in the ice." The human's chest tightened. She said it so flatly, as if telling the weather. But her hands shook harder than the cold could explain. "You think me weak now, shivering beside you. But once I was feared. Warriors bent the knee to me, enemies cursed my name." Her eyes narrowed. "And now I beg a human for warmth." He studied her face, pale in the faint light. The pride in her voice was real, but so was the shame. He wanted to ask if she trusted him, but she spoke first. "Don't mistake this for kindness," she hissed. "I only keep you because your heat saves me, nothing more." Yet, even as she said it, her fingers clutched his cloak as if afraid he might leave. The storm howled again. The sound outside grew closer, a heavy scraping against the ice walls. The human reached for his blade. "They're back," he whispered. The alien's eyes sharpened. "The night stalkers. They smell us. They always smell warmth." Her voice dropped low, almost trembling. "Do you know why I feared exile more than death? Because here, I am hunted every night. Those beasts wait outside for the weak to fall. Asleep, they crawl into the shelters, into the beds, and they feed." The human felt the cold crawl deeper into his bones. He thought of the glowing marks on her skin, faint lines like scars that pulsed when she breathed. "What are they afraid of?" he asked. She tilted her head, lips curving into a dangerous smile. "Me. Once, I killed their pack leader with my bare hands. But that was before." Her voice trailed off, and she covered the glowing lines with the furs. "Before they took my power away." The human's brow furrowed. "Your people took it." She nodded slowly. "A mark of shame. They cut me from the bond of fire. Without it, I am weaker, colder, easier prey." A sharp thud shook the wall. Snow trickled in through the cracks. The night stalkers were pressing closer. The human tightened his grip on his blade. "Then we fight." Her eyes locked on his, surprised at the simple courage in his voice. For a long moment, she studied him, the corner of her lips twitching like she wanted to laugh, but instead, she whispered, "You're a fool, human, but maybe a useful fool." He raised a brow. "That's supposed to be a compliment." She smirked faintly. For now, another thud hit the shelter. This time, claws scraped metal. The alien woman's eyes glowed brighter, reflecting fear and something else. "I'll tell you one last secret," she said, her voice low, urgent. "If the beasts break through, they won't just kill us. They'll drag us alive into the ice caverns." His chest tightened. "For what?" Her voice was barely a whisper now, her breath warm against his ear. "For breeding." The human's stomach turned cold. He had heard rumors of such things in old stories, but never believed them. The alien woman's grip on his cloak tightened again. Her eyes, fierce and proud even in exile, burned with desperation now. "So fight, human," she whispered. "Fight, like your life means nothing. Because if they take us alive, You'll wish the storm had killed you instead." The scraping grew louder. Shadows moved against the cracks of the wall. The human held his blade tight, his heart pounding. The alien woman leaned close, her voice breaking for the first time. "If you survive the night with me, human, maybe then I'll tell you my real name." Asterisk. The shelter shook as claws tore. At the outer wall, the metal groaned, splitting under the weight of something huge pressing against it. Snow dust fell from the ceiling, and the human tightened his grip on the short blade. Strapped to his side, his heart hammered in his chest. The alien woman's eyes glowed faintly in the dark, sharper now, her voice low and steady. "They've found us. Night stalkers never stop once they catch a scent." Another slam rattled the shelter. The human saw shadows moving at the cracks in the wall. Long limbs, heavy jaws. He swallowed hard, forcing his breathing calm. "How many?" he whispered. Her lips curved in a grim smile. "Too many, but they don't fear the storm. They only fear fire, and I have none left." The words stung. He thought of her earlier confession, how her people stripped her of power, how she had been exiled to die out here. Yet, here she was, still alive. He glanced at her glowing marks under the furs. Even broken, she was stronger than him. "Stay close," she commanded. "When they break through, they'll try to drag us alive." The sound outside grew louder, snarls, scratching. Then, with a deafening crash, one claw punched through the wall, long and black, tipped with ice. The human leapt back, his blade ready. His breath came fast, fogging in the freezing air. The alien woman stepped beside him, her hand gripping a jagged piece of metal like a spear. Her pride did not let her cower. The wall ripped open, and the first night stalker pushed through. Its body was covered in thick, dark fur crusted with frost. Its eyes glowed pale blue, and steam rose from its mouth as it exhaled. Rows of jagged teeth clicked together like knives. It crouched low, muscles rippling, ready to strike. The human's blood went cold. It was twice his size. The beast lunged. The human slashed upward, his blade catching the creature across the jaw. Hot black blood sprayed, sizzling in the freezing air. The beast howled, shaking the shelter, and staggered back. Another roar answered outside. More shadows circled. The alien woman shoved him aside and thrust her metal spear through the broken wall, piercing a second beast's shoulder. The creature shrieked, pulling away, but she only snarled. "Fight like your life means nothing," she shouted. "Because it doesn't, not tonight." The human gritted his teeth. She was right. Survival was all that mattered. Another stalker forced its way in, crawling low. Its claws scraped sparks against the floor. The human stepped forward, swinging fast. His blade cut across its foreleg, but the beast didn't slow. It slammed into him, knocking him to the ground. The air rushed out of his lungs. He struggled as the creature's weight pressed him down. Hot breath washed over his face, reeking of rot and frost. Then steel flashed. The alien woman leapt onto the beast's back, driving her spear deep into its neck. The monster shrieked, blood spraying across the shelter walls. She twisted the weapon hard until the creature collapsed, twitching, and lay still. She jumped off, breathing heavy. "Pathetic," she muttered, though her shaking hands betrayed her exhaustion. The human staggered back to his feet. His chest burned from the hit, but adrenaline pushed him forward. He glanced at her, amazed. Even without her power, she fought like a warrior born. The walls trembled again. More claws, more snarls. The pack wasn't done. The alien woman's voice dropped low. "There are always more. They come in waves until you break." The human wiped the blood from his face, gripping his blade tighter. "Then let's make sure we're the ones who don't." Her eyes flickered to him, surprised by his calm. For a heartbeat, the pride in her gaze softened just slightly. Then another shadow loomed at the entrance. This one was larger, stronger, its glowing eyes fixed on them with hunger. The Alpha. The alien woman's grip tightened on her spear. "That one," she whispered. "If we kill it, the others may scatter." The human nodded. "Then we kill it." The beast roared and charged, shaking the floor with its weight. The human dodged left, slashing as it passed, but his blade barely cut the thick fur. The alien woman stabbed from the right, but the Alpha swiped with a massive claw, sending her crashing against the wall. She cried out, the furs slipping from her shoulders. The glowing marks on her skin flared brighter than before, pulsing with heat. The Alpha hesitated. It tilted its head, snarling, as if recognizing something. The human's eyes widened. Whatever had been stripped from her, some power, some bond, was still there, faint but alive. The alien woman's voice trembled, but her eyes burned with fury. I told you, human, I was feared once, and even broken. I can still make them fear me. She pushed herself to her feet, spear in hand, glowing faintly against the icy dark. The Alpha roared again, shaking the shelter, its breath steaming. Like fire, the human stood at her side, his blade ready. His chest ached, his body tired. But he met her eyes and nodded once. Together, he said. For the first time, she didn't argue. She only smirked. The Alpha slammed forward with the force of a falling boulder. The ground shook under its massive weight. Snow and ice sprayed into the shelter, and the human braced himself, his blade flashing upward. Steel clashed against claw. Sparks flew. The human's arms trembled as the beast pushed him back, teeth snapping just inches from his face. Then the alien woman struck. She leapt onto the creature's back, driving her jagged spear down with all her strength. The Alpha roared, thrashing wildly, slamming into the walls as it tried to throw her off. Hold it, she shouted, her voice sharp, commanding. The human dug his boots into the frozen ground, forcing the beast's head upward. His blade sliced deep into its jaw. Hot blood splattered across his chest, steaming in the cold. The beast howled, and, with one final thrust, the alien woman drove her weapon straight through its neck. The Alpha fell, crashing onto the icy floor. It twitched once, then lay still. For a moment, there was silence. Then distant howls broke through the storm. The rest of the pack. But instead of charging, the cries grew fainter. One by one, the shadows slipped back into the snow. The beasts were retreating. The human dropped his blade, his arms heavy and sore. His chest burned with every breath, but he was alive. He turned to the alien woman. She was on her knees, her chest heaving, blood hers, and the beast streaked her face. Her spear snapped in half when she pulled it free, leaving only a jagged end. Her glowing marks flickered dimly, fading as her strength drained. She leaned against the wall, shivering harder than before. You fought like a beast yourself, she said weakly, a small smirk on her lips. Not bad. For a human. He crouched beside her, pressing the furs back over her shoulders. You saved me. Her smirk faded into something sharper, almost bitter. Don't mistake it for care. If you died, I would freeze, that's all. But the human could see it in her eyes, the truth she didn't want to admit. She had fought for more than just survival. The storm outside still screamed, but the shelter grew quieter now. The bodies of the dead beasts steamed on the floor, their blood burning against the cold air. The human dragged them to the broken wall, stacking them like a barrier. It wasn't much, but it might keep others out until morning. When he returned, the alien woman's head had fallen back against the wall. Her eyes were closed, her body trembling violently. Hey, he said, kneeling beside her. Stay awake. Her eyes fluttered open, glowing faintly. Don't order me, human. I don't take orders. He smirked faintly. Fine, then think of it as a request. Her lips curved in the faintest smile before her body shivered again. He cursed under his breath and pulled her closer. Their skin touched, and heat slowly returned between them. For a long moment, neither spoke. The storm's howl outside became distant, drowned by the sound of their breathing. Finally, she whispered, her voice softer than ever. You should know, warmth is sacred to my kind. We do not share it lightly. He looked down at her, confused. Then why me? Her eyes met his. Pride and shame fought within them, but her words came steady. Because you were there. Because I had no choice. But also, she hesitated, biting her lip before finishing. Because something in your eyes told me you would not abandon me. The human said nothing. The weight of her words pressed deep into him. She leaned her forehead against his chest, her voice almost breaking. My people call this bond fire between. When the bodies share heat, their lives tie together. If one falls, the other feels it. If one survives, the other is pulled back from death. His breath caught. You mean, we're bound now, her faint smirk returned, though her eyes were heavy with exhaustion. Don't flatter yourself. The bond is weak, but even weak fire can burn. The human tightened his hold around her. Not knowing what else to say, the shelter felt less cold. Now not only from their shared heat, but from something deeper. Outside, the storm raged on. The pack might return with the sunrise, or something worse might crawl out of the snow. But in that moment, lying against each other, the human felt a strange sense of strength. He had come here a stranger. She had been left to die in exile. Yet, together, they had survived the night's hunters. Her breathing slowed. She whispered, almost as if dreaming, if my people knew that I bound with a human, they would kill us both. The human's jaw tightened. He looked down at her sleeping form, at the glowing marks fading softly on her skin. He didn't know what future awaited them, but he knew one thing: he wasn't about to let her die here. Not alone, not forgotten. The strange light outside cut through the storm like a blade. It wasn't fire. It wasn't beast eyes. It moved steadily across the frozen wastes, searching. The human's body stiffened. His hand went to his blade, though he knew steel meant little against whatever approached. He glanced down at the alien woman resting against him. Her glowing marks flickered faintly in her sleep. She stirred, her eyes snapping open the instant she felt his tension. What is it? She whispered, her voice raw. He nodded toward the cracks in the wall, light coming closer. Her breath caught. She pushed herself up, though her body trembled from exhaustion. Her eyes narrowed, hard as ice. Not beasts, she muttered. Scouts. My people. The human's chest tightened. The same ones who exiled you, yes. Her lip curled in disgust. They come to see if the storm has finished me, and if not, they will finish it themselves. The human's hand clenched around his blade. Then we fight. She gave him a sharp look. You don't understand. Against the Night Stalkers. We fight. Against my people. We cannot win. He didn't back down. We survived the storm. We survived the beasts. Why not them? Her eyes softened just slightly. Because to them, I am already dead. And you, she touched his chest with trembling fingers. You are nothing but a trespasser. The human felt the weight of her words. Yet he also felt the warmth between them, the fragile bond that had formed in the frozen night. You called it fire between, he said softly. Her eyes widened. For the first time, she looked uncertain. He leaned closer. You said if one falls, the other feels it. If one survives, the other is pulled back. That means if they kill you, I die too? Her lips pressed into a thin line. Yes, that is the risk. That is why the bond is forbidden with outsiders. The human's jaw tightened. Then they'll have to kill me too, and I won't make it easy. For a long moment, she stared at him, pride warred with something else in her eyes, something softer, something dangerous to her pride. You're a fool, human, she whispered, voice trembling. But you are my fool now. The shelter shook as heavy footsteps crunched outside. The strange light grew brighter, flooding through the broken wall. Shadows loomed tall, armored figures moving through the snow. The alien woman gripped his arm, pulling him close. Her lips brushed his ear as she hissed, listen carefully. If they ask, I never shared fire with you. I never bound with you. If they learn the truth, they will burn us both alive. The human looked at her, his chest heavy. And if I refuse to lie, her eyes blazed. Then you choose death, for both of us. The wall tore open. The scouts stepped inside. 3 towering aliens clad in thick armor, their visors glowing like molten fire. They carried long spears tipped with crackling energy. The leader stepped forward, his voice deep and cold. Exile, he said, his gaze fixed on the woman. You still live. Her body stiffened. Unfortunately for you. The leader's visor tilted. His gaze shifted to the human. And you, a human. Strange company for one meant to die alone. The woman stepped in front of him, her shoulders squared despite her trembling. He is nothing, a stray. He wandered into my shelter. Nothing more. The leader's voice rumbled with suspicion. Strange. Then, that he still breathes, our kind, does not spare outsiders. The human's fists tightened, but he kept his silence. He remembered her warning. One wrong word, and the bond between them would be exposed. The scouts circled the shelter, their glowing visors scanning the dead Night Stalkers. The leader let out a low growl. So, you still have some fight in you, but it changes nothing. Exile is exile. You do not return. The woman's lips curled into a bitter smile. Then why are you here? To watch me freeze? To carry my body back for display? The leader tilted his head. No, to test if the bond of exile still holds. The woman's breath caught. She took a half step back. What test? The human demanded. The leader's glowing visor turned toward him. The trial of heat. If she still carries strength in her veins, she may walk one final path. If not, the ice will claim her. And you, the human's chest tightened. He didn't know what this trial was, but from the look in the alien woman's eyes, it was no small thing. She whispered under her breath, "Just for him, the trial will kill us both. Then we fight it together," he said firmly. Her lips trembled, caught between a smirk and despair. "You are bound to me, human. You will die in my fire, or you will burn beside me. There is no other way." The leader raised his spear. The tip glowed red, lighting the ruined shelter like dawn. "Come," he ordered. The trial of heat waits. The storm swallowed them the moment the scouts dragged them outside. Snow whipped across the wastes, blinding and sharp as knives. The human's boots sank deep. His lungs burned with every breath. But the armored figures moved like shadows, unbothered by the cold, their glowing spears lighting the path. The alien woman walked beside him, her wrists bound in glowing chains. Her eyes blazed with fury, but her steps were steady. The human caught the faint flicker of her glowing marks under the furs. They pulsed faster now, like fire struggling to wake. He leaned close, whispering over the storm, "What is this trial?" She didn't look at him. The trial of return. It is meant to prove if an exile is truly dead or if the fire still burns within. And if you pass? Her lips curled bitterly. Then they strip more from me, more honor, more pain. Survival is no reward. The scouts stopped. Before them rose a vast chasm, its mouth jagged like broken teeth. The wind howled through it, carrying a deep, rumbling echo. The leader's voice cut through the storm. "The trial begins. Enter the hollow. Walk until the fire claims you. If you crawl out alive, the bond of exile is broken. If you fail," his visor tilted toward the human, "you both die." The alien woman's jaw clenched, cruel. As ever, the leader didn't respond. He thrust his spear forward, its tip glowing brighter. "Go." The human looked into the hollow. Darkness stretched endlessly inside. The storm's howl vanished beyond its mouth, replaced by silence so deep it made his skin crawl. The alien woman's chains released with a hiss. She staggered forward, and the human followed. The scouts remained outside, their glowing visors watching coldly. Inside, the hollow was deathly still. No wind, no sound, only the crunch of their steps on frozen stone. The deeper they went, the darker it became, until even the faint glow of her marks barely lit the walls. The human's voice was low. "Why do they make you do this?" She didn't answer at first. Her eyes were on the ground, her breath ragged. Finally, she whispered, "Because to walk the hollow is to face yourself. No weapons, no fire, only what lies within." The human frowned. "And what lies within you?" Her lips curved in a cold smile. "Rage, regret, and now you." He felt heat rise in his chest at her words, though the air was freezing. The tunnel widened suddenly, opening into a vast cavern. The walls glowed, faintly with veins of ice, reflecting their faint light. In the center of the cavern lay a pool of black water, steaming faintly despite the cold. The alien woman froze. Her eyes widened in recognition. "The pool of fire," she whispered. "They want me to cross it." The human looked at the steaming water. "It's boiling." She nodded slowly. "It burns not only flesh, but spirit. If the bond inside me is weak, it will tear me apart. And you, human, since we are bound." He finished for her. "It tears me apart too." She met his eyes, the pride in her gaze trembling with something softer. "You should have left me in the storm." He smirked faintly. "Too late now." Her lips twitched, as if fighting back. A laugh or a sob. Then she stepped forward. The water hissed as she dipped her foot in. Steam curled around her leg. Her body shook, but she kept going. The human gritted his teeth and followed. The instant his foot touched the water, fire raced through his veins. His skin burned. His bones screamed. He staggered, almost falling, but her hand caught his arm. "Do not stop," she hissed. Her voice trembled with pain, but her grip was iron. "If you stop, the fire consumes you." They moved together, step by step, through the boiling pool. The water rose to their knees, then to their waists. The human gasped, his vision blurring. But he forced himself forward. He felt her trembling beside him, her glowing marks flaring brighter, spreading across her body like living fire. Her voice cracked. "This is what they wanted to see me break, to see me crawl out screaming. Less than nothing." The human clenched his jaw. "Then let's give them the opposite." Her eyes flickered to him for the first time. The pride in her gaze softened completely. They pushed on, every step a war. The water burned deeper, stripping away thought, leaving only raw will. The human felt his strength fading, his body ready to collapse. But every time he faltered, her hand pulled him forward, and every time she stumbled, he pulled her back up. Finally, the water thinned. They dragged themselves onto the far shore, collapsing onto the frozen stone. Steam rose from their bodies, their skin raw, but they were alive. The alien woman lay on her back, staring at the cavern's ceiling. Her chest heaved, her glowing marks blazing like firebrands. She let out a ragged laugh. "We did it," she whispered. "No exile has ever crossed with another. They will not believe it." The human turned his head toward her, his voice hoarse. "Let them see, let them choke on it." For a long moment, silence filled the cavern. The bond between them pulsed like heat in his chest, steady and strong. Then her smile faded. "Do you understand, human? Surviving this makes us enemies of both worlds. My people will not take me back, and yours will never accept me." The human's voice was steady. "Then we'll make our own world." Asterisk. The cavern shook. The black pool boiled as if something alive stirred beneath it. The human staggered to his feet, blade in hand, though his arms still shook from the burning water. The alien woman rose beside him, her glowing marks blazing brighter than ever. "What now?" he whispered. Her eyes narrowed on the bubbling pool. They lied. The trial was never only about crossing. Something sleeps here, a guardian. It wakes when the unworthy survive. A roar echoed through the cavern, low and endless. Steam burst upward, filling the air with choking heat. From the depths, a massive shape rose, scaled, armored with ice, eyes glowing like twin suns. Its body was a serpent of fire and frost, born to devour any who dared the trial. The human's chest tightened. His blade felt like a toy in his hand. The alien woman stepped forward, her body trembling yet defiant. This is how they end exiles. They let the beast finish what the council does not want to dirty its hands with. The human clenched his jaw. "Then we end it first." The beast lunged, steam and fire blasting from its jaws. The cavern floor cracked, waves of heat slamming into them. The human dove aside, rolling across the stone, while the alien woman drove her broken spear at the creature's eye. The tip glanced off its icy armor with a screech. "Too strong," she shouted, pulling back. The human's mind raced. Weapons wouldn't pierce it. Not steel, not broken spear. But then he remembered her words, fire between, the bond that tied them, heat shared, life shared. "What if we burn it?" he yelled. She turned to him, confused. "We have no fire." He grabbed her hand, pulling her close. "We do, us." Her eyes widened. The glowing marks on her body pulsed brighter as his touch sparked them alive. Their heat spread through the cavern, faint at first then growing. The beast turned toward them, sensing the surge. It roared and charged. The human and the alien woman stood firm, their hands locked, their bodies pressed together. Heat exploded between them, fire bursting from her glowing marks, spreading into him. His chest burned, but not with pain, with power. Their bond roared alive, brighter than the guardian's flame. "Now," he shouted. Together, they thrust their joined hands forward. A wave of burning light surged from their bodies, slamming into the beast. The cavern blazed white. The guardian shrieked, its icy armor cracking, melting, shattering. It writhed, twisting in agony, before collapsing back into the pool with a final hiss. The cavern grew silent again, steam drifting into the air. The human fell to his knees, gasping. The alien woman dropped beside him, her body trembling but her eyes wide with wonder. "You shared it with me," she whispered. "You carried the fire. No one outside my kind has ever." Her voice trailed off, her lips trembling. The human gave a tired smile. "Guess I'm not like the others." For a long moment, she just stared at him. Then, slowly, she leaned forward, pressing her forehead against his. Her voice was softer than the storm outside. "You are mine now, human, bound by heat, bound by life. Do you accept it?" His chest rose and fell, his eyes locked on hers. "I already did the moment I stepped into your bed." Her lips curved into the smallest, proudest smile he had seen yet. The cavern shook again, but this time, it was not the beast. The scouts had followed them inside. Their glowing spears lit the chamber, their voices sharp with anger. "You survived." The leader said coldly. "Impossible. The Guardian does not fall unless his visor tilted. You broke the law of bonds." The alien woman rose to her feet, standing tall despite her weakness. Her glowing marks still burned, brighter than ever. She pulled the human up beside her, their hands still clasped. "Yes," she said boldly, "I bound with him, a human. And together, we destroyed your lies." The scouts stepped back, their visors flickering. Some muttered in disbelief. The leader snarled, "Then you are no exile. You are heretic, and you will burn." The human raised his blade again, though. His body shook, but before he could move, the alien woman stepped forward, her voice cutting like steel. "No," she declared. "You will not burn us. You will fear us. For tonight, a human shared our sacred fire. And it did not destroy him, it destroyed your guardian." The cavern filled with silence. Even the scouts seemed unsure. The human's voice broke it, calm and steady. "If surviving together makes us enemies of your world, then so be it. We'll make our own." The alien woman's hand tightened on his. Pride shone in her eyes, not the pride of someone clinging to the past, but the pride of someone who had found something new. The scouts didn't move. Their glowing spears flickered uncertainly. The bond between human and alien burned to bright. "Too strange." The alien woman leaned close, her lips brushing his ear as the cavern filled with tension. "Do you feel it, human? The fire between, it won't fade. Not now, not ever." The human smirked faintly, his eyes still on the scouts. "Good, because I wasn't planning to let you go." Final hook, cliffhanger for your series. The cavern shook once more, but this time it wasn't beasts or guardians, it was the mountain itself. Ice cracked above them, snow thundering down. The trial wasn't over, and outside the storm, a new dawn waited, one where human and alien would walk together, or not at all.